All right. Hey. You know, I was thinking like about earlier today about like how obvious it is um since I've been sober, like the difference with my outlook and my mindset. It's just like night and day. And that's so it's what makes it I kind of see a little bit, like have a little bit of empathy since I've gotten sober for like my family and people that couldn't really understand why I was doing the things I was doing and why it was like so difficult for me to change my behavior. Like it must be so frustrating because there's nothing really you can do, and that's the frustrating part, and that's like the mistake a lot of parents make too. Is I kind of cannot wait till I get a haircut. Like my hair is driving me freaking crazy. Um, a side note, like I've had just the same long, straight, won't hold like a curl or any type of shape hair since fourth grade. Since fifth grade and beyond. Like I've had long fucking hair, like parted down the middle for the most part, my entire life. And in fourth grade I got like a bob cut. It was like up to my shoulders and I actually loved it. And just typical though, I loved it. I really felt it looked great. And my like best friend at the time, a fellow fourth grader, she was like, oh, I hate it. She like talked shit about my haircut. She was like, oh, did you mean to do that? And I was like, yeah. But of course, me then, I was like devastated, and like that has stuck with me. And it's crazy. Like I was always, I never gave myself a chance to be myself. Like I have, and I had even really like strong opinions on things, and it's like I had that sense of self somewhere in there, but I couldn't express it because I was so like sensitive and insecure, and I had all these other issues that I didn't even like know how to begin to address. And so like if I liked something and if somebody else like critiqued it or put it down or anything, like I just didn't even think like, well, maybe that's, them. I mean, it's like it never dawned on me, oh, that's just like, girls being girls and like just being like kids are assholes a lot of times. I just her being an asshole and a dickhead. And, when we were kids, and so what? She doesn't like my haircut. But that stuck with me. And like then through high school and even like in early adulthood, like I used my hair. I was always like, my hair was like in my face and stringy. I used it kind of, I think, as like a security blanket or something. And now I'm just still dealing with the fallout kind of, and the ramifications and rebuilding. I've come so far, but I still have a long way to go, and financials are a factor, and I just can't wait to be at the place where I'm like financially stable enough to be able to like afford haircuts on the regular. So that's a goal and something I'm looking forward to. But anyway, that was like a rant, and it's really greasy, but oh well, we're just gonna go with it. The point was that I believe since I've been sober, it's like everything has changed with my mindset. And for the first time, I'm really getting to be myself in kind of this way where it's like I'm not apologizing or taking my sense of self like cues from other people. And it's like really refreshing. And when I was in active addiction, I wanted so badly to have one of those like enabler parents, and I did to a degree, but my parents were definitely not like super enablers. There are some I knew a lot of people who their parents will just give them endlessly and just follow around their like adult addict child and trying to like pick up the pieces. And it's like it's codependency and it's enabling, and it's just a lot of issues going on with the parents, with them not like being in denial. I think that's a huge factor. And just ignorance too, you know. Maybe they don't, maybe they, that's willful ignorance to a degree, because what parent wants to think, damn, there's nothing I can do, you know. And there is nothing you can do. Like, if an adult addict decides to get sober, it's not going to be because you paid for rehab, like for the 9,000th time. It's not going to be because like you bailed them out of jail for like the 100th time, or, you know, paid their rent up, or gave them like X amount of dollars. It's not going to be because of any type of handouts or any enabling. The only thing an enabling is going to do is potentially help them like dig an even earlier grave. And that's like the hard truth of it, because the bottom line is that you can't change anyone in any way that doesn't want to get change, that doesn't want to change. And that definitely pertains to addicts. You know, and it's like, I just look back on my life and look at myself, and it's like one of those pictures where it's like, can you spot the, you know, whatever in the photo? And it's like, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And it's so obvious. Like, how could I not see that from the beginning? But you know, you don't see something until you see it. And I really was so lost for so long that I remember watching, like, it was like a Discovery Channel type show where it was like, I don't know if it was like Kensington, something like that, like Kensington Undercover, or like, you know, America Addicted, one of those kind of almost like cheesy exploitative shows about, you know, people like living rough on the streets in active addiction. And I was so fucked up in my head that I saw an interview on this random TV show of this homeless old man like panhandling, and they interviewed him, and he's like, man, you know, heroin's the best feeling in the world. I've been shooting dope for decades, and I'm gonna die with a needle in my arm, because there's no better way to go out. There's no better feeling in the world. And I actually thought, you know, didn't think twice about it either. I thought, man, that is a man that gets it. That's exactly how I feel. And another quick anecdote too, I had a friend, you know, who was also in addiction for a long time, and there was a couple of years where we used together. And when she got sober, she ended up, you know, getting it together like a few years before I did, and she ended up like doing really well and like working in the recovery system and like managing like halfway houses, I think, and really like climbing up and just making this amazing life for herself. And she came back to Bluefield one time for like her business, and we saw each other, and this was when I was homeless on the streets. And she is such a good person. She started like busting out crying because she had no idea like I was like selling my body and my soul and homeless and full blown like IV heroin addiction. She knew it was bad, but she did not know it was quite that bad. And here she is, like, you know, we're seeing each other again, but she's like a world away, you know, she's doing amazing things. And I was like in the depths of despair. And when she started crying, when she left, I swear to God, once again, kind of like the same thought when I saw the show with the homeless man. I did not consider the fact that it was such a fucked up thing to think, that I thought, okay, she's crying and she wishes I was doing better. But surely, I just knew, surely there was a part of her that was like jealous that I still got to get high. And I was so lost in addiction and self-loathing that I really thought I had found some type of secret that made the fact that I had nothing other than my addiction, that it made it worthwhile. Because, you know, my drug addiction felt so good physically that it not only made it worthwhile, but that I was like onto something, and I got some sort of secret to life that other people didn't. And my God, like, how fucking stupid is that, right? But that's how far gone I was, and that's how fucked up my head was, you know. And I just wish I would have thought maybe it would have worked, maybe it would not have. But I wish maybe somebody would have said, like, you know, why are you okay with this? You know, and just said it to me bluntly. You know, I had been in 2 long-term rehabs for a total of like going on 6 months combined. I had been in jails and prison for a total of all in all about a year and a half combined, which isn't like that much, but it's enough to know like what's up basically. I was homeless for a year. I was in the hospital for a total of 3 months, and I had more than a handful of serious life-altering, well, should have been life-altering overdoses. Not to mention just, you know, the bridges I burned, the lies I told, that type of thing. Credit ruined, etc. I had all these ramifications, but I still, like never in any part of that or in any recovery thing that I did anybody ask me like, why is that okay? You know, it's like saying, well, it feels amazing, it's the best feeling in the world. That is the equivalent to being in a very abusive, toxic, unhealthy relationship and being like, well, I love him, well, we're in love. You know, that's not it. That's not an answer. And I didn't know that because my definition of love was so fucked up. And addiction was like a relationship. You know, I loved getting high. I did. It had a lot of the same, kind of like to an eerie degree almost, some of the same similarities between that, like between my love affair with my addiction and my abusive relationships of the past, in the sense that like I knew deep down it was hurting me. I knew deep down that like there was more for life for other people, but not, I thought it was the best I could do, you know, and I thought I didn't deserve anything else. And that's true in love. You get the love you think you deserve, like in Perks of Being a Wallflower, but that's true in life. You know, you get the life you think you deserve, you know, and it's like, you know, if you've ever been in a relationship, and I've been in several where I stayed in dead end, unhealthy, just no good relationships that were doing nothing but hurting me. I stayed in those relationships for years, sometimes too long. Or specifically with one relationship I stayed in for years, like plural, for too long. And it was, you know, like I said in another video, I was that woman that was making up excuses and lies for like bruises and stuff. And it was embarrassing, but at the same time, my thinking was, well, we're in love. I thought love had these mythical powers. And you know, it was an excuse to keep my life in shambles because I didn't think I had, you know, anywhere else to go. But the thing is like, I just wish I had known, like, what if I just do like an experiment and just live, you know, like I'm worthy? What if I just pretend that I'm worthy of life, or just pretend, you know, just like play if I had to, that I could have dreams. I was worthy of dreams, and I was worthy of pursuing those dreams and making them a reality. You know, that's like the key to life, you know. I just did not know I was like worthy of that. And that's why toxic abuse and self-abuse was like acceptable to me, because it was like, well, it's better than nothing, you know. But what if it's like those aren't your two options? And I just wish somebody had like, it may have worked, like I said, it may not have, but I don't know why it's not addressed like that, you know. And like I said in other videos, I find it highly suspect that addiction is just looked at as a, like, you know, it's so easy, you know, to just fill out fucking paperwork. Like, are you clean? Can you pass the piss test? Are drugs flushed out of your system? We did X, Y, and Z for X amount of time, and voila, clean urine, you know. And plus, also, when you look at it from just mental illness and a family standpoint, that's really easy to put down on paper too. Like, you have X, Y, and Z factors. We are doing A, B, and C to remedy, and but that's just, it's just fucking noise. It doesn't get to the heart of addiction, I don't think. And that's, like I said, like love. It's like, you get what you think you are worthy of, or what you think you aren't worthy of. So anyway, I don't know, I just wanted to share that. Y'all have a good night.